During the journey, Noah and I were giving each other the silent treatment. When the train pulled into the station, he got off without waiting for me. By the time the conductor woke me, we had already passed the stop. I wasn't as upset as I thought I'd be. I calmly paid for the extra ticket. It turns out goodbyes are often silent. You didn't get off. No, I was asleep. A series of ellipses appeared on the other end. Then, he sent a location. A hotel address. I'll wait for you. Can you make it by 9? I glanced at the time. There were still 2 hours until 9. If I got off at the next stop and rushed back, I should be able to make it. Vast fields of wheat swept past the window, waves of gold rippling in the morning light. I rarely lingered on such beautiful scenery, but this time, I did. Don't wait. Let's break up, I replied. The typing indicator flickered on and off. Finally, a single message came through. Whatever. No argument. Just a calm acceptance. And just like that, our 6-year relationship ended. The woman in the seat next to me noticed my expression and poured me a glass of warm water. Honey, did you have a fight with your boyfriend? I took the water and shook my head with a smile. In all the years since I met Noah at 17, I had never seen him raise his voice at anyone. The first time I saw him was at the sophomore year New Year's Eve party. My male co-host had bailed on me because his girlfriend got jealous. Noah was pushed forward to fill in. His black, choppy hair just brushed his eyebrows. He had a narrow, straight nose and a slightly upturned tip above thin, pale pink lips. He looked like he had stepped out of a manga. Perhaps it was the festive atmosphere, but all I remember is my heart beating very fast. I started to deliberately get close to him. Wherever he was, I was sure to be there too. Before morning classes, I'd run, toast in my mouth, and stuff a hot bun and milk under his desk, drenched in sweat, then dash back to my own classroom just in time. When he came off the court during a game, I'd shoot through the crowd like an arrow, the first to stand before him, offering him the water I'd been keeping warm in my coat. His usually distant eyes held a hint of a smile. How are you everywhere? I'd look up at him, my affection undisguised. I like you. You should be smart about this. He let out a low chuckle. Take the water and drink it down, the excess trickling from his jaw to his bobbing Adam's apple. I don't like you. You should be smart about this. If you don't believe me, try chasing me. I bet your patience will only last a month. I stared at his water, slicked pink lips and made a silent vow. Those moist, soft lips. I must kiss them. I narrowed my eyes, a determined smile on my face. Just you wait. You're going to lose. My friends told me not to waste my time. A golden boy like Noah was arrogant, his heart harder than a block of old ice. But since I was a child, once I decided to do something, not even 10 bulls could pull me back. I was naive then, thinking I would be the exception that made him lose control. The number of people chasing Noah was like a river of fish, but I was the only one who persisted. I juggled chasing him and studying, managing to get into the same university as him by the skin of my teeth. At the freshman orientation, I swapped my black, framed glasses for contacts, put on the most popular makeup style of the time, and stopped him on campus wearing a daffodil yellow sundress. He, who was usually so dismissive, was momentarily stunned, his tone tinged with a hint of flirtation. TSK, you really don't give up, do you? Not long after that day, he agreed to be with me. His quick agreement felt surreal for a moment. Later, as I was waiting for him after class to go to dinner, I found out why. His friend asked him, "Didn't you say you didn't like Olivia?" He was looking down, scrolling through his phone, replying to my message. "Sorry for the wait, girlfriend. We'll go to your favorite Japanese place later." When he looked up again, a smile he couldn't contain played at the corners of his eyes. Just because I don't like her, doesn't mean we can't be together, right? In Noah's view, I just happened to appear on the path he had already planned out, so he gave me a ride. It had nothing to do with love. In fact, after we got together, he was an excellent boyfriend. He would prepare surprises for our anniversaries and would take an afternoon out of his busy schedule to make custom couples mugs with me by hand. The time that stands out most in my memory, I was busy revising my thesis and forgot about him, leaving him waiting on the street for 3 hours. When I arrived, full of apologies, he smiled and gently ruffled my hair, saying it was okay to make it up to him. I treated him to a fancy dinner. He didn't say no, but in the end, he secretly paid the bill beforehand. Ever since I overheard his conversation with his friend, I had harbored a reservation, and our relationship had been limited to kisses and hugs. This precarious relationship felt like a ticking time bomb, waiting for the right moment to go off. Perhaps it was the enchanting night, the perfect atmosphere, or perhaps it was the mounting pressure of approaching graduation, fueled by wine. I pounced on him. My kisses were clumsy. From the tip of his nose to his bobbing Adam's apple, he arched his back, his hands steadying my waist. His handsome brow was furrowed. His emotions reined in. His voice raspy beyond recognition. Olivia, do you know what you're doing? Under the warm yellow light, I propped myself up on his firm chest. My fingertips traced circles on his tense skin. A provocative gesture. Noah, are you even real? You're like a doll. He let out a scoffing laugh. A slight flex of his lean waist. He effortlessly flipped me into an intimate position. His calloused hands gently massaged the nape of my neck. A mixture of pain and pleasure. Am I still a doll now? He gently kissed the tear stains on my face. His laugh seductive. His question made my face burn. I let go of him as if I'd been scorched. I whimpered softly. After graduation, Noah followed his advisor to a lab in a city. He asked me if we should go our separate ways or if I would go with him. His expression was neutral, as if he were making a very ordinary decision. I chose the latter and made a home with him in a city. He took me to meet his parents to discuss our engagement. On our 5th anniversary, he came home with a white domestic cat with heterochromia and asked me to name it. What about Machi? I said, excitedly taking the cat into my arms. Noah wasn't looking at me. His fingertips played with the cat. A slight smile on his lips. Your mommy is a little foodie. Can't even name a cat without thinking of food. Machi. You have to keep mommy company for daddy. Make her happy. Don't let her be sad, or daddy will take away your fish treats. His words made me laugh. Noah, are you even human? Threatening a little kitten. At that, Noah's gaze on me deepened. Sometimes I'm not human. I'm a beast. With that, he bent down and lifted me, cat and all, and walked towards the bedroom. I tried to coax him. I'm tired. Let's eat first. When have you ever done any of the work? It's always me. He said it without a hint of a blush, his mouth full of dirty talk. I hit him in frustration. He clutched his heart, pretending to be hurt, and demanded I be responsible for him for the rest of his life. At that time, I sincerely looked forward to our future. The details I had ignored could be glossed over. But then, Machi died. He was less than 2 years old. In that moment, it felt like something had shattered. I came back from a business trip. Machi didn't run to greet me, rubbing against my leg and acting cute, as he usually did. When I went to pick him up, he screeched, scratched me, and ran away. Noah anxiously checked my wound, wanting to take me to the hospital for a shot. He comforted me, saying maybe Machi didn't recognize me because I'd been away for too long. Something was wrong. This wasn't right. Machi had always been gentle and timid. He would never hurt anyone. I grabbed Machi's front right paw. There was no scar there. This cat, who looked identical to Machi, was not Machi. Noah's expression changed slightly. He smiled and asked if I was mistaken. He didn't know that Machi's injury was because of me. It happened when I took Machi for a walk downstairs. A dog lunged at me, tearing at my clothes. Machi, with his fur on end, charged forward. Machi blinded the dog in one eye but was severely injured himself. His entire front paw was nearly severed, held on by a shred of skin, even after it healed. If you looked closely, the scar was still shocking. At that time, Noah had taken on a new project and was spending months at the lab, only coming home for brief, rushed visits. He hadn't noticed these details, and I hadn't told him. Under my questioning, Noah finally told the truth. He was too busy. So he had taken Machi to the lab to live with him. A new junior colleague, unaware of the situation, had mistaken Machi for a lab animal. He vehemently defended his colleague, insisting it was just an innocent mistake. This man, who called himself Machi's father, I saw no sadness in his eyes. He had once specifically bought new toys for that little ball of fur. But why? Our Machi was dead. But I was the only one who was sad. Noah and I had a huge fight. To be precise, I had a one-sided fight with him. Compared to his calmness, I was like a hysterical madwoman. He held me tightly, trying to calm me down. It's just a cat. Honey, if you don't like this one, I'll help you pick another. In Noah's eyes, a cat's value is in its companionship. One could be replaced by another. He didn't understand why I was so upset. But, Noah, it's not the same. How could it be the same? Just like Noah's wife. It has to be Olivia. And no one else. Noah said I was playing with words, being too emotional, and told me not to overthink it. He said we would be fine, but I knew we couldn't go back. The dream I had woven for myself had been shattered. It showed me the bloody reality. The memories I had deliberately created were not exclusive. They were replaceable. All these years I had spent following him were a joke. His wife could be Olivia. Or it could be anyone. Just like Machi. Any cat could be Machi. No matter who was in the wife position. He would play the part well. He was good to his wife. Not to Olivia. The saddest part was, I knew it clearly. He didn't like me that much. And I couldn't stop liking him. In this relationship, he was at ease. Because he always had a way out. But all of this was because I was attracted to him. And I flew towards him like a moth to a flame. I didn't even have the right to feel wronged. I didn't want to see Noah. Work was a good excuse. Working late into the night. I thought of Machi again. He would sit at the entrance. His head tilted. His ears perked up. Listening for sounds outside the door. He would wait for me to come home. Then jump into my arms. Acting cute and affectionate. When I brought out a new toy, his beautiful mismatched eyes would sparkle. And he would meow in a high-pitched voice, wanting me to play with him. I bought the new toy, but he would never receive it. In the 3rd month of my one-sided Cold War with Noah, he proposed a trip to break the ice. Because of his work, he needed to be on call at all times. So after we started working, all our trips were around a city. This time, he had taken a long vacation to go to sea city, 1,000 miles from a city, the place I had been dreaming of. It was peak travel season, and a last-minute decision. So all the plane tickets were sold out. He managed to get 2 train tickets, but our seats were 2 cars apart. The train only stopped for a few minutes in sea city. Noah got off, and I missed the stop. I had a fever. After getting off the train, I took a taxi to a nearby hospital. My immune system was down due to overwork. While I was on N4 drip, I ran into one of Noah's colleagues. To be precise, the new junior colleague he had mentioned, Sarah. As for how she recognized me, she explained that she had seen my photo in Noah's wallet. Sarah pursed her lips, her eyes downcast, and apologized sincerely. I thought Machi was a lab animal. When I found out the truth, I wanted to stop the experiment. But the data was so perfect. Noah had to make a tough choice. He decided to just go with it, and followed up for 3 consecutive phases to get the most accurate data. Noah even got recognized for his work because of it. So it was a win. Some lose. Some situation. My eyes widened in disbelief. What did you say? Sarah blinked innocently and repeated excitedly. Noah got recognized. He might even get a promotion this year. Remember to put in a good word for me with him. Olivia. I'm counting on him for my future. I laughed. So he had traded Machi for his career. The world spun. And I fainted. I had a dream. Machi was convulsing, foaming at the mouth. In his last moments, he was still waiting for his daddy to realize he had been taken by mistake. And Noah was lovingly calling another cat Machi. Beside him stood a girl, referred to as wife, who bore a slight resemblance to me. I woke with a start. I found Noah sitting by my bed, staring at me anxiously. You're awake. How are you feeling? Are you uncomfortable anywhere? I cut him off coldly. Why didn't you stop the experiment? At my words, Noah's hand, which was about to check my forehead temperature, froze in mid-air. He didn't answer me. Instead, he turned to fiddle with a food container. You were unconscious for 3 days. You must be hungry. This is your favorite century egg and pork porridge. I even had them add shrimp for extra nutrition. The doctor didn't say when you would wake up, so I've been reheating it every 3 hours. He unscrewed the lid, took a taste, and then held it out to me. The temperature is just right now. I forcefully slapped his hand away. The container fell to the floor with a loud crash, its contents splattering everywhere. The clash of metal against marble was shrill and jarring. Noah let out a heavy sigh and looked down at me. After I got the call, I rushed here. For 3 days. I haven't left your side. Afraid you'd get hurt. And so, Olivia, the first thing you do when you wake up is to fucking question me about that damn animal. Hurt and anger flickered across his impossibly handsome face. I tilted my head back to meet his gaze, my tone mocking. Noah, so you do get angry. He gave a slight smile, his expression grim. About Machi, I don't think my decision was wrong. His sacrifice had meaning. Why are you so hung up on it? His lack of remorse grated on my nerves. I retorted, Noah, you're a fucking selfish, hypocritical bastard. Yeah, I'm the bad guy. And you, Olivia, are the saint of the world. But you were the one who shamelessly chased after me, like a piece of gum I couldn't shake off. He gripped my chin, his sneer cold. What? Now that you see my true colors, you regret it and want to break up. You think you can come and go as you please. Is that it? Do you think I'll be bawling my eyes out, begging you to stay? Let me tell you, don't even think about it. Absolutely not. There are plenty of girls around me who are better and prettier than you. And you, Olivia, are nothing. A chill ran through me. I felt sorry for my past self. The beautiful memories I had deliberately created were worthless to him. My sincerity had been thrown to the dogs. It was just like that. At the peak of my pain, I grew calm. I said peacefully, you can go. Let's not see each other again. Noah froze, his eyes deep, a self-deprecating smile on his lips. He ran a hand through his hair in frustration, his voice heavy. You started this, so you're responsible. You can explain the broken engagement to both our families. I nodded. He turned to leave, his movement slow. In the past, if he had left with even a slight frown, I would have run after him and hugged him from behind, acting cute. But those intimate gestures were worthless to him, cheap and ridiculous. The doorknob finally turned. I called out to him, "Oomph," a soft, mocking sound. In the quiet room, it was amplified in my ears. Noah lifted his chin slightly and looked back, as if to say, I knew it. You're the one who likes century egg and pork porridge. I paused, then continued in a flat tone. I'm allergic to shrimp. At that, Noah's expression was a sight to behold. From shock to panic, then to a forced composure. His retreating back looked utterly defeated. As for the broken engagement, my reason was studying abroad. It was a flimsy excuse, but Noah's parents didn't object. Just before I left, his mother pulled me aside. Olivia, I apologize for that rascal. I was surprised. His mother handed me a bag. I know what my son is like. He's had a ton of bad habits since he was a kid. You're the only one who's put up with him all these years. If it were me, I would have slapped him. I fully support you going abroad to study. If you can, come visit me and his father often. No matter what happens between you and Noah, I've always thought of you as my daughter. Let's go. I'm in a hurry. Noah stood in the distance, his hands in his pockets, looking impatient. After we got in the car, Noah started it with a cold expression. If it weren't for my mom, I wouldn't be driving you. I ignored him and opened the bag. Inside were the red envelopes and jewelry they had given me over the years, which I had returned. All in all, it was worth over $1 million. Take these back, I said. Noah glanced at them, his hands on the steering wheel, his tone icy. I don't want anything you've touched. It's bad luck. Noah was the kind of person who had a beautiful face, but a dark heart. When he was happy, he was harmless, even a bit witty and humorous. But if you angered him, his subtle sarcasm could make your bones ache. I suddenly remembered a time when I was waiting for him to get the car from the garage. I ran into an old male classmate and we chatted for a bit. On the way, Noah was silent, his face dark. I cautiously asked him, "What's wrong? Do you just fall for anyone you see?" He said, his face expressionless, his words sharp as knives. Olivia, your love is pretty cheap. At the time, I swallowed the bitterness in my heart and rationalized his behavior. He was just jealous. We were in love. But how can love make you feel wronged? Curled up in a corner, licking my wounds, healing myself, I looked at the man beside me. The memories of the past churned within me, and the words tumbled out. Everything you're wearing, from head to toe, didn't I buy it for you? Even your underwear is the lucky red pair I got you. Why don't you find that bad luck? Noah was so taken aback his face turned green. I pressed on, pouring out years of grievances. I've even slept with you. Why don't you just go die? You. Noah gritted his teeth in anger. Olivia, I suggest you be smart about this. You're in my car right now. What? Are you going to throw me out on the side of the road? I sat up straight and looked at him, shouting, "Stop the car." Noah's face was grim. He didn't say another word, just slammed on the accelerator. The sudden push back into my seat made me instinctively grab Noah's arm, then let go. Noah glanced at me, then looked away. When we reached my apartment building, he threw me and the bag out. Just as I found my footing, Noah's car was already gone. If nothing unexpected happened, this would be the last time we saw each other. It was not a dignified farewell. I couldn't quite describe the feeling in my heart. The world is vast, but it only takes a bit of fate for two people to meet. When fate ends, we will never see each other again. At the dinner table, my mother started her usual lecture. It's not like it was a matter of principle. I really don't know what you're making such a fuss about. I didn't argue. In her eyes, my actions were selfish and dramatic. But I knew my own feelings, and I didn't want to live a life of compromise anymore. The Machi incident was the last straw. In this relationship, I had been so lost in it that I had lost myself, and the outcome was not what I wanted. I couldn't accept it. A piece of meat that was about to rot. It should have been cut out before it was discovered. All right, our daughter is finally home for a meal. My father interjected. What's so good about it? I froze. Mom, what are you saying? My mother lost her temper and threw down her chopsticks. Isn't it true? You gave up everything for a man, not only changing your college choice, but also following him to a city so far from home. Your father and I finally accepted Noah. He doesn't smoke, doesn't drink. He's just a bit of a workaholic. A good man you can entrust your life to. And now you're unhappy over this little thing. Don't you ruin your own life. The people closest to you know just where to strike to hurt the most. We parted on bad terms. My parents are both teachers, from a very traditional family. From what color clothes I wore to where I studied and where I would work and settle down. Even the man I would entrust my life to, preferably someone in the education field. My life had been planned out for me. The things they thought were right, I insisted on doing the opposite. I wanted to prove that my choices were right too. That life wasn't just the path they had laid out for me. I worked hard for my choices. In fact, those choices had all yielded positive results. I was proud and complacent, thinking that love would be the same. I followed my heart with reckless abandon. As for Noah, I lost, and I accepted it. Tears streamed down my face, a chill entering my heart, but I smiled. I'm still so young. I can start all over again. Life's margin for error is higher than you think. My life shouldn't be a struggle I give up on just because of one wrong choice. In the middle of the night, I knocked on my mother's door. I knew she wasn't asleep either. Parents' love for their children is far-reaching. The path they walked was successful, so they paved a road for me, hoping I could take fewer detours. That's all. She was sitting on the bed with her reading glasses on, sewing an old-fashioned cross-stitch. This was her activity to combat insomnia. The warm light of the small lamp cast flickering shadows. Time had left a few white strands at her temples. She glanced at me, said nothing, and continued her embroidery. I walked over, hugged her from behind, and gently rubbed my forehead against her shoulder. I called out to her in a clingy voice, "Mom." She ignored me. I continued, "Mom, don't call me Mom. I'm old. I can't control you anymore." My mother still didn't spare me a glance. But I want to see the world. I also want to see the world with you and Dad. Perhaps my tone was too emotional. My mother softened slightly. What is there to see? Your father and I are halfway to the grave. I was just thinking that if you and Noah could live a good life, your father and I would have completed our life's mission. I retorted. Who made up that stupid mission? Mom. Life is long. So long that it becomes a series of mundane tasks like eating and sleeping. But life is also short. We come to this world for a brief experience and then leave. Wouldn't it be nice for us to travel the world? Enjoy life. My mother adjusted her reading glasses. Where did you learn such nonsense? One thing after another. I continued to rub against my mother, acting cute, and went along with her words. It's genetic. Who made my mom a respected language teacher? My mother smiled, the wrinkles at the corners of her eyes deepening. As she smiled, She started to cry. What will you do when your father and I are gone? I fought back tears and continued to build her confidence. I'm grown up. I can support myself. You can't even guarantee you'll always be nice to me, let alone anyone else. I still remember when I was a kid. I went swimming in the wild pond, and you chased me with a rattan cane, hitting my butt so hard. My mother put down her cross, stitch, hugged me back, and seemed to have accepted the fact that Noah and I were over. She sighed softly. Never mind. As long as you're safe and healthy. My father was woken up by the noise. Seeing the scene, he smiled happily. You two were so busy arguing tonight you barely ate. You must be hungry. I'll go make some noodles for you. My mother wiped her tears and called out to my father. Poached 2 eggs. In the small room, the 3 of us laughed together. The next day, my mother woke me from my sleep with a stack of photos. Your aunt introduced you to many high-quality single men. Take your pick. I pouted. Well, last night's efforts were for nothing. The following days were incredibly busy but fulfilling. Besides attending classes at an institution, I had to find time to handle various procedures and visa applications. I also had to deal with the blind dates my mother arranged from time to time. My mother's reasoning was, just make a friend. You can never have too many friends. I went to the dates reluctantly. Throughout the dinner, the man was gentle and refined, with a good sense of propriety. A stark contrast to the greasy, pretentious men from before. But I had just ended a 6-year relationship. For now, at least. I didn't want to start another one. So I tactfully declined his suggestion to meet again. As for Noah, it seemed I hadn't thought of him in a long time. It turns out forgetting someone isn't as hard as I thought. However, while I had no intention of remembering, someone else was determined to intrude. Noah and Sarah appeared in my line of sight very suddenly. From my perspective, they were very close. Noah was looking down, saying something to her. His eyes were lowered. His lips curved upwards in a gentle smile, as if sensing my gaze. Noah looked in my direction. I lowered my head and looked away. I hoped he hadn't noticed me. A moment later, I looked up. The 2 of them were already seated. Noah had his back to me, laughing and talking with Sarah. Should we go our separate ways? Or will you come with me to a city? Noah's words echoed in my mind. In the same restaurant, a few meters apart, separated by the bustling crowd. This, going our separate ways, now seemed to have a tangible form. My blind date, seeing that I was distracted, ended the dinner early. After leaving the restaurant, I was waiting for a car at the entrance. The car next to me suddenly flashed its headlights. I raised my hand to block the glaring white light. I squinted and saw the person in the driver's seat. Noah. He, who never smoked, now had half a cigarette between his fingers, his gaze heavy. After a silent exchange of looks, he spoke first. Was that guy your new flame? None of your business. Noah gave a non-committal shrug, flicked the ash from his cigarette, and asked again. Did you report me? I was slightly taken aback, as if confirming his own suspicions. Noah let out a soft chuckle and nodded. It's common for stray cats to be used in experiments on a large scale. That reason won't work. You might as well report me for seeing other women. That's a more solid moral failing. But that reason won't stand. Because from beginning to end, I've only ever had you, Olivia. Seeing my silence, he chuckled a few more times. I'm with Sarah now. She's great. Not like you. So dramatic and high maintenance. I smiled back. Well, congratulations then. His pupils were dark as he looked at me, as if searching for something on my face. As for the stray animals being used in experiments on a large scale, I had expected this result. I had consulted with relevant professionals. At most, this would attract public attention. But the impact of public opinion should not be underestimated. Even an internal condemnation of Noah for letting a personal grudge affect his work would be something. He deserved to be punished for Machi's death. So I sent a report to the higher UPS at his lab. What goes around comes around. It's just a matter of time. At that, Noah blew a smoke ring and laughed even more brazenly. Olivia, are you naive or just stupid? Karma is something that useless people use as a comfort. A flash of lightning streaked across the sky, a sign of impending rain. I quickly took a few steps back to distance myself from Noah, afraid of being caught in the crossfire. I even kindly reminded him, it's about to thunder. You should go. Noah ignored me, got out of the car, and walked towards me, talking to himself. I've always heard you say this place is good, so I thought I'd try it. It's pretty spicy. I choked a few times, but it's bearable. Noah was a southerner who couldn't handle any spice. Spicy food would give him a stomachache that kept him up all night. I, who loved spicy food, had gotten used to his bland diet over the years we were together. So, to hear him say, "It's bearable," I was quite surprised. Perhaps this was thanks to his new girlfriend, Sarah. Seeing that I still wasn't responding, he opened the passenger door. "I'll give you a ride." "No need. I've called a car. Can't we even be friends anymore?" Under his expectant gaze, I nodded deeply. Noah leaned back, a bitter, self-deprecating smile on his lips. To this day, I still can't believe that a cat is the reason we're like this now. The first time you gave me a dirty look, the first time you ignored me, the first time you fought with me. In your heart, am I less important than a cat? And this damn cat was a gift from me. I really brought this on myself. I paused, an unnameable sadness rising in my heart. Noah, not fighting is the scariest thing. We are all human. We all have emotions, joys, and sorrows. But I never dared to express my dissatisfaction to him, let alone get angry with him, because I knew he would be the first one to let go. Even when we were at the peak of our passionate love, he could still calmly ask me whether we should go our separate ways or if I would go with him to a city. I was never in his future plans. This relationship was held together by my tight grip. Once I let go, there would be no us anymore. You knew that finding a similar cat to replace Machi would upset me, but you still chose your work and sacrificed Machi. You were also sure that I wouldn't make a fuss, because you were the one I loved most. My feelings, my choices, my thoughts, none of them mattered much. Noah, when I realized that, it wasn't that I stopped loving you. I just chose to love myself. That's not. Noah stepped forward and grabbed my wrist, as if trying to explain something. But in the end, all that remained was a string of silence. The car I had called arrived. I gestured for him to let go. His eyes were slightly red, his tone sincere and earnest. "Olivia, can I change? I'll change all of it. Come back, and we'll be like we were before. If you're unhappy, you can hit me as hard as you want to vent your anger." Me being with Sarah was just me saying things in anger. These past few days, I've really missed you. I've missed you so much. Under his pleading gaze, I was cold and emotionless. I said, word by word, "But Noah, I don't love you anymore." Noah froze. His eyes filled with shock and disbelief. Perhaps the impact of that sentence was too much for him. He remained motionless even after I got in the car. The sky, as if on cue, began to pour down rain. The roof of the car was battered by a heavy, noisy downpour. As the car drove away, through the curtain of rain, that familiar figure still stood there. The car's headlights stretched his lonely shadow until it disappeared. "Honey, was that your boyfriend?" the female driver asked me. I was slightly taken aback, then realized the driver was the same woman I had met on the train, the one who had poured me a glass of water. I smiled and corrected her. "Ex-boyfriend," she asked again. "Did he cheat on you?" I thought about it. At least during the time we were together, he hadn't been unfaithful. Seeing me shake my head, the woman sighed. "I've been with my husband since I was 18. I even had 2 children for him. We've been married for over a decade. He's been good to me, and he gives me his salary." As the woman spoke, a light flickered in her eyes. Just as I was about to offer my congratulations, her next sentence was, "But he's been secretly keeping another woman on the side." Seeing my surprise, the woman sighed helplessly. "When I was younger, I would make a fuss. Now that the kids are grown, I just let it go. All men are like that. As long as it's not about other women, and life is bearable, it's fine," the woman advised me, her tone seemingly light and carefree. But all I saw was a middle-aged woman, who, after sacrificing for her family, was now comforting herself with resignation. Isn't being faithful to your partner the most basic requirement? When did this become a pro in the list of criteria for choosing a partner? A tumor that could turn malignant at any moment, if you don't find it and cut it out in time, before it spreads throughout the body and becomes incurable. Even if you can't escape unscathed, you should fight with all your might to remove it. My words seemed to slightly startle the driver. Love shouldn't be about limitless undignified tolerance, and degradation. Love is about mutual support, moving forward in sync, and flourishing together. Noah didn't return to a city. Instead, he started appearing frequently wherever I was, on my way to my classes, or near my home. He would wear the clothes I bought him and greet me. I would ignore him, and he would just smile it off, trying to play the part of the devoted ex-boyfriend trying to win me back. I bet his patience wouldn't last more than a month, but he confidently assured me, "Just you wait. I'll prove my determination." The scene felt a bit familiar. I didn't dwell on it. Later, I learned from my mother that he had bought the house across the street from ours and planned to live there long term. My mother found out because our dishwasher broke, and just as she was about to call a repairman, Noah suddenly appeared and took on the job. Not just the dishwasher. He's changed light bulbs and even repainted the furniture that needed it. "I made him do it all," my mother said, quite pleased with herself. "Mom, he and I are over." I was afraid my mother still held out hope for us to get back together. My mother pouted. "So what? Who told him to mistreat my daughter?" Thanks to Noah, my mother stopped arranging blind dates for me. She now spent her days tormenting Noah in various ways, from throwing rotten eggs at his door to dumping trash there. My mother's intention was to drive Noah away, but he persisted. Day after day. One day, I couldn't take it anymore and asked to meet with Noah. Noah dressed up for the occasion. In a suit and tie, holding a large bouquet of red roses, he appeared at the barbecue stall where I had arranged to meet. The people around us, sucking on their skewers, cast strange glances at Noah. Noah ignored them, a joyful smile he couldn't contain on his face. As he walked towards me, "Olivia, you're finally willing to see me," I sighed. "Is this fun for you? What are you doing?" A flicker of disappointment crossed Noah's face, but he still forced a smile. "Olivia, this time, it's my turn to run towards you." Without any hesitation, I had lost my patience. I threw the flowers he had forcefully pushed into my hands back at his face. His handsome face was now marked with a few scratches. Noah didn't seem to care. His smile was more painful than a cry. Humble, fawning, completely devoid of dignity. "Noah, listen carefully. Olivia, do not love you anymore." Tears welled up in Noah's eyes as he gripped my shoulders tightly. He shook his head frantically, trying to deceive himself. "You're lying." I looked at him coldly, my words like knives. "In fact, I hate you." Before I could finish, Noah had already kissed me, stopping me from saying more. My hands were pinned by him. I couldn't move. He expertly pried open my lips, his eyes closed in a drunken stupor. I bared my teeth and bit down hard. The faint taste of blood quickly spread in my mouth. Noah didn't flinch until the female driver from that day passed by. She grabbed a security fork and charged forward, pinning Noah to the ground. Finally, she spat. "Puh, you damn scumbag." Noah was detained for 15 days for indecent assault. When I came out of the police station, the female driver held my hand, her face beaming. "Honey, thank you for waking me up. I divorced my husband. I should live for myself for once." We looked at each other and smiled in the dark, celebrating for each other. When Noah's parents heard the news, they rushed over from a city. I had assumed it was because of Noah, until I saw them at my door with bags of luggage. Besides the gifts for my parents, the rest was their own luggage. Noah's mother held my hand, her smile radiant. "Olivia, your father-in-law and I have never been abroad. After retirement, all we do is walk around. It's quite boring." Noah's mother glanced at his father and whispered in my ear, "I wonder if the old men abroad are handsome." Well, she was after me. I took the 4 of them abroad. I went to study. They went to play. The 4 of them made a perfect mahjong table. That day, I took them to a seaside restaurant for dinner. When I went to the restroom, I heard Noah's mother on the phone. I don't have a habit of eavesdropping, so I was about to leave. But then I heard her shout impatiently into the phone. "I know. Are you ever going to stop? I'll look after your wife for you. You just focus on staying in your cell." I quietly left. After dinner, just as we left the restaurant, Noah's mother grabbed my hand and shouted excitedly, "Honey, look there. Look there." I followed her gaze to a handsome blonde, blue-eyed man. "This one is handsome. He looks like a young Leonardo DiCaprio. I want this one as my son-in-law." Noah's story. From the moment I was born, I was showered with endless affection. Besides being good looking, I also had a rich father. My mother was a beautiful saleswoman. I inherited my good looks from her. There were rumors that my mother married my father not for love, but for money. At first, I would argue against it. Later, I came to accept this truth. Everyone around me, from my peers to my teachers and even the school principal, was exceptionally kind and caring towards me. After gaining my trust, they showed their true colors. They just wanted to use me to get to my father, to achieve some selfish goal. My world began to crumble. Friendship was fake. Family was fake. Love was fake. Everything was fake. I became extremely rebellious. After kicking down the principal's office door for the nth time, my parents sent me to a small county high school, far from a city. Here, no one knew my identity. The teachers and students were all indifferent to me, except for some girls who were infatuated with my face. No one cared about me. Most of them were focused on their own things. They had dreams and aspirations for the future. They believed that with hard work, they could achieve anything. I scoffed at their naive optimism. All you had to do was shamelessly flatter a little brat, and it would be better than anything. My desk mate was a nerdy-looking guy with glasses. He often sighed. "I'm so jealous of you, Noah." I was playing my game console and raised an eyebrow in confusion. Someone average, looking like me, has to stay at the top of the class to get girls to like me. Like you do. Me. Look at you. Your grades are at the bottom, but you look like that Korean celebrity. What's his name? Cha something. Or other. With a face like that, you'll never be short of girls liking you. You'll always be receiving love letters and gifts. I laughed in frustration and was suddenly motivated. I wanted to prove that besides my background and my looks, there was something else about me worth liking. In fact, I did very well. My teachers started to notice me. After every mock exam, they would look at me with hope, affirmation, and pride. The girls' gazes now held not just admiration for my looks, but also for my achievements. This was something I had earned through hard work, not some value that came with a certain halo. I met Olivia in my sophomore year. She was fair-skinned and had 2 dimples at the corners of her mouth. Not stunningly beautiful, but she could be described as pure and cute. She was like all the other girls who liked me. She brought me water, gifts, and wrote me love letters. I had rejected so many that I eventually stopped bothering. Many people chased me, but very few persisted. Not everyone enjoys unrequited affection, but Olivia persevered. She had an endless supply of energy, like a little sun. She would greet me with a cheerful smile. "Hi, Noah. My name is Olivia." It got to the point where if I didn't see her for a day, I would feel an emptiness in my heart and be distracted in class. I frantically tried to shake off the absurd thoughts in my head. She was just like everyone else. She just liked my face. Don't give your heart away so easily. You've already fallen into that abyss once as a child. Isn't that enough? I decided to start dating Olivia in my freshman year of college. She was wearing a tacky yellow dress and had on some really bad makeup when she stopped me. Her eyebrows were thick, dark, and uneven. The blush on her cheeks was a disaster. Honestly, I was shocked. If it weren't for her voice, I almost wouldn't have recognized her. I teased her with disdain, but my heart was beating fast from the shock. Fortunately, she was chattering away, masking my racing heart. I was at the age to start dating. Trying it out wouldn't hurt. That's how I convinced myself. I thought our relationship wouldn't last more than 3 months, but we were together for 4 whole years. Being with Olivia was very comfortable. She never got angry with me, never caused any trouble. What I liked, she also happened to like. Whether it was food or lifestyle habits, I also got used to her initiative, her passion, her affection. The year we graduated, I gave her 2 choices: to break up or to continue. If she chose to go with me, then I would marry her. Honestly, when I asked that question, I was a little nervous. But I'm not used to showing weakness to others. I'm used to being on top. I'm used to being a cold observer. I'm used to being detached. But Olivia chose the latter without hesitation. I secretly breathed a sigh of relief. But I never expected that Olivia would leave me because of a cat. The Machi incident was an accident. Or perhaps it was Sarah's revenge for me rejecting her confession. But the damage was done. Machi would have to live the rest of his life with a disability, giving him a quick end and completing the experiment. A decision that killed two birds with one stone. After it all came out, Olivia left without a second thought. I didn't try to stop her. After agreeing to go to a friend's drinking party, they were all shocked. In the past, I never bothered to hang out with them. I don't smoke, and I don't like to drink. These activities, which are bad for your health and make you lose yourself, are very frivolous and fake. I only like to fiddle with data in the lab. It's real and straightforward. But in that moment, I wanted to get drunk. Not for any other reason than to celebrate that Olivia had finally dropped her act. She was just like everyone else, approaching me with a purpose. The good thing was, I had never given her my true heart. Noah, do you know what you look like right now? My friend teased. What? I slowly blew a perfect smoke ring into the air. You're having a breakdown. Or rather, you're in self-denial after a major breakdown. You're in love with her. I frowned, denying his words. How could that be? I couldn't be happier. That woman is full of lies. A master of flattery. She cheats people, then doesn't cherish them. She comes and goes as she pleases. What does she take me for? I slammed my glass down, my words full of resentment. The childhood nightmare returned. A voice in my head kept screaming. Poor thing. She doesn't love you at all. See, you're less important to her than a cat. You lost again. You were tricked again. Who does Olivia think she is? To just leave like that? Am I really less important than a cat? I kept testing her, until she admitted she loved me. She loved me, and she loved herself. The two were not mutually exclusive. I dropped all my pretenses, let down my guard. I joyfully expressed my love. As long as she came back, I would do anything. But she said, "But I don't love you anymore." Cruel and heartless. In that heavy rain, I was drenched from head to toe. I had a fever. In my delirium, I hoarsely called out Olivia's name, but no one would come running, anxiously, to kiss my forehead by my bedside. I had wronged her. Her love for me had been exhausted. She no longer loved me. Recognizing this fact, the details I had deliberately ignored in the past became sharp swords piercing me. It was agonizing, crushing, and desperate. My mother called me a hypocrite and an arrogant fool for taking others' unconditional love for granted. I deserved it. I was to blame. For the first time, I didn't argue with her. I asked her, "Do you and Dad love each other?" My mother was stunned for a moment. Her eyes gradually softened as she fell into a reverie. She recalled the little things in her life, a life full of hustle. Whether it was opening a shop or investing, she was passionate, even if she never succeeded. But she always maintained her passion, because she knew that as long as she looked back, her husband's gaze would always be sincere and unwavering. In their leisure time, they would talk about their dreams, reminisce about the past, and also about the future of their rebellious son. Life is long. Staying away from the superficial world of fame and fortune isn't a bad thing. When the storm was brewing, my mother would worry about her husband's injured knee. She would apply heat, massage his joints, to relieve the pain. Never a word of love was spoken. Love, besides taking, is also about giving. Love is about responsiveness, tangible and visible. I tried to walk the path Olivia had taken, only to discover the bitterness and grievances along the way. After submitting my resignation, Sarah's expression was complicated. She was happy that no one was competing with her for the year-end promotion. But the lab had just hired several very talented new junior colleagues. Before I left, I accidentally saw Sarah and the person in charge kissing passionately. If I remember correctly, this person in charge seemed to have a wife and children. But none of this had anything to do with me anymore. I looked up at the blue sky. My dear Olivia, this time, it's my turn to run towards you. Without any hesitation,